Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be my Deadpool 3 video. Well, we're not particularly going to get into the semantics and the specs of Deadpool 3 because really right now there is none other than Ryan Reynolds, of course, clamoring for the movie to happen, as are many of the fans of this character. I myself am admittedly not the hugest Deadpool fan. I enjoyed the first movie, still have not watched the second one, but would I like to see Ryan Reynolds carry this role forward in the MCU? Let's talk about it. Monkeys, roll the footage. As you can see, we have a headline here. Marvel Insider hints Deadpool 3 will be PG-13. We have a couple headlines to go through. Yes, I know it's We Got This Covered, but I have a point and a use for this article, and one today from the Daily Mail, as they all pertain to, that's right, Deadpool 3. And if, when, how, and is this really possible under the House of Mouse? Can we get this character in his full capacity?
Oh, hello there. I bet you're wondering why the red suit. Well, that's so bad guys can't see me bleed.
So we'll start over here with this article from CosmicBookNews.com hinting that Kevin Feige will be a control freak on this movie. A Marvel insider on Reddit claims that when Deadpool 3 finally gets released that it could be rated PG-13, with it further claimed that Kevin Feige is a, quote, control freak who only wants to do his own projects. The Redditor, Sorry Everyone My Bad, looks to have credibility, as, at least for the past 6 months, the Redditor has been posting Marvel insider information. As the Redditor states, they do work for Marvel and now work closer to Kevin Feige. Regarding Deadpool 3, in a thread from 2 months ago about Rob Liefeld claiming Marvel has zero plans for Deadpool 3, the insider replied to another Redditor and offered Disney hasn't made a hard R-rated movie since they purchased Fox. I believe that you are thinking of user Sorry Everyone My Bad. What she said, to my understanding, was that he was on the fence about what to do with Deadpool due to his lack of involvement with the other movies, but is willing to make a compromise. It is not that he does not care, it is that he has so many other things on his list of priorities to get to first. Here's the problem with the Kevin Feige approach of wait and see and let's let it sit and marinate is Deadpool 1 came out in, 2016? The second one came out, I believe it was 2018, and the character has been laying dormant for 2 years now when the fans are clamoring for it. Plus, let's take a look at the box office returns on the first 2 movies and how they were critically received by both critics and fans. So as you can see here how the graphic unfolds, Deadpool 1 and 2 both received very well by fans. Critics actually had a great reaction to this R-rated superhero flick as well, and both north of $780 million plus worldwide at the box office, which seems like a layup for another movie for Marvel given as their penchants for loving that almighty dollar so much. But that's what you get when you put the franchise in the hands of somebody like Kevin Feige, who didn't create it and doesn't have the same feelings for it because it's not his. Look, Disney has not made a hard R movie since it acquired Fox. Everything it has released was already in the can since it was bought, and nothing R is in the works in a big way. It's caused a bit of anguish in Hollywood, to be honest, but that's a tale for another day.
Hola! Me llamo Vecina de la Muerta.
The insider was also asked if Ryan Reynolds is on his way out and if Deadpool 3 will be rebooted, which in my humble opinion would be a huge mistake for this franchise, and especially if they took Ryan Reynolds out of the role. It would still be his role no matter who they got to play it. So Rob Liefeld is the creator of Deadpool for Marvel Comics, and he has kind of been left out of the loop as of late on this character, which he struck out against Kevin Feige, making fun of him for bringing Shang-Chi and the Eternals into the MCU before bringing Deadpool in. But part of the problem with the character of Deadpool also lies with this man, Mr. Tim Miller, who, although did a great job directing the first Deadpool, had some issues with fans on another project, which may cost him and probably have cost him in the long run as far as his career goes. Now, let me take you back to that for just a second. Now, keeping in mind, Tim Miller left the Deadpool franchise, what he claimed was because Ryan Reynolds wanted too much control. But this is the line that got him in trouble, this paragraph from this IndieWire article from last year. If you're at all enlightened, she'll play like gangbusters. If you're a closet misogynist, she'll scare the fuck out of you. Because she's tough and strong, but very feminine, Miller said. We did not trade certain gender traits for others. She's just very strong, and that frightens some dudes. You can see online the responses to some of the early shit that's out there. The trolls on the internet. I don't give a fuck. Well, Tim Miller, it turns out you probably should have given a fuck.
That is why you fail.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
So Tim Miller's inability to work and coexist with Ryan Reynolds caused Deadpool 2 to have David Leitch come in and direct, which he had a much bigger role to fill as director in this because of the wildly successful first part of the series, and he proved to be even more successful than Tim Miller with the second installment of the series under Fox. So Tim Miller having to exit the second installment of the franchise really speaks to maybe, in my mind's eye, some of the hesitation that Feige has on bringing this character in the third installment of a trilogy with having had two different directors. Now, we all know how having two different directors works out in a movie trilogy, don't we, Disney? So to kind of round this article back to Cosmic Book News' article, it says Ryan is neither on his way out nor will it be rebooted. But it took Kevin a lot to get on board with something he didn't create, even despite having chops and making money. Regarding Kevin Feige being a control freak who is now in charge of all Marvel, the Redditor replied in a thread about Charlie Cox debunking the rumor that Daredevil is in Spider-Man 3 with the mention of the former head of Marvel TV, Joseph Loeb. Worth a mention is that Marvel insiders have also filled me in that Loeb is not liked in the industry. Loeb is not extremely well liked in Hollywood. He's difficult to work with and not a team player. I don't know if there was a falling out, but like so many content execs, Feige is a control freak who brings people to the table he wants to work with, which means that we're probably not going to see any of the Netflix characters back. While replying to the comment about the Save Daredevil petition, the Redditor insinuates Feige will go with a new cast whenever Daredevil makes its way into the MCU, as Feige wasn't responsible for the Netflix show. Kevin Feige believes he could win them back. Kevin Feige doesn't need anything Kevin Feige didn't build. I'm not saying it's right, but that's the attitude, and he is a Vince McMahon in that respect. So, I have a strong connection to New Mutants, which Feige won't even consider, look at, or discuss because it isn't his. That movie could be nominated for an award and it still wouldn't be in the MCU. It won't be, but it's not a bad little movie. And that is because Kevin Feige's sheer fucking hubris won't allow him to accept anything that he didn't personally have his hands on. Even this movie, we've been waiting for it for 4 or 5 years almost, and it's kind of getting frustrating. But let's go on with the article. I know Deadpool 3 has been announced because Fox is in the Ryan Reynolds business, but it was begrudgingly announced and only because it made a shitload of money. Feige was strong-armed into that one. It's not that he is a control freak, but he wants this family-built vibe, and inheriting someone else's take is absolutely off the table. Absolutely. I used to waver a little bit on this fact, but now I have the insight to say there is no interest in him inheriting anything. Now's the comedy portion of the video where I jump over to We Got This Covered from an article that came out yesterday and talk about Deadpool 3 reportedly getting a new origin story, which kind of directly contradicts some of what we've read here. Possibly, possibly not.
Oh, what the fuck ever?
So just for the sake of it, let's take a look at this article from We Got This Covered. It says a few days ago, we learned that Deadpool 3 will be a prequel set earlier in the MCU timeline. Although little is known yet about the project, save for the fact that the character's creator Rob Liefeld is seemingly being left out of the production by Disney, we've now heard that not only will the film be a prequel, but it'll change the anti-hero's origin story a little bit as well, or at least change it from what we saw in the Fox movies. That story, for the record, was first laid out in the original Deadpool, released in 2016. It's presented as a version of the character who, after discovering he suffers from an aggressive and seemingly incurable cancer, agrees to undergo an experiment that ends up changing his life for better and for worse at the same time. For his entrance into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, however, things will be a bit different. Several years before the present-day MCU, Deadpool 3 will reportedly see the Merc actively working as a mercenary assassin for the Weapon X program. At least that's according to the sources close to We Got This Covered. Here we go. The same ones who told us that Ahsoka Tano will be in The Mandalorian Season 2 and Ryan Reynolds had a secret cameo in Hobbs and Shaw. Changing up his origin to tie it more closely to Weapon X only makes sense too, as it brings the character closer to his comic book beginnings and also connects him with more than an organization villain that has ties with many other heroes. As such, we imagine fans will be happy with the decision, especially since we're told that eventually the MCU's Deadpool will turn more into the anti-hero we're familiar with from the previous films. Take it with a grain of salt. It's We Got This Covered, ladies and gents. Ever since Disney acquired the rights to the character, developing a movie based around him has proven problematic. First and foremost, the raunchy, vulgar, and at times plainly obscene Merc with a mouth doesn't exactly fit the company's family-friendly brand and identity, which upholds universal themes of love, kindness, and respect. Incorporating Deadpool into the MCU, a thing which many fans have wanted to see happen for years, has proven difficult as his films are first and foremost spoofs of Marvel efforts. As such, featuring the character in a story which he's designed to parody is difficult, to say the least. In fact, it may just be impossible. Interestingly, though, Hollywood has tried to make a serious non-parody version of Deadpool before. Of course, this version was played by Ryan Reynolds as well, several years before he would reinvent the character on the big screen. In 2009, X-Men Origins Wolverine saw Deadpool join the X-Men cast, but for whatever reason, the producers decided to literally remove his mouth. Let's hope Deadpool 3 finds an approach that does the character some justice and also carries over what fans loved about him from the Fox movies. Now, most of that, I'm sure, is nothing but conjecture and speculation on the part of We Got This Covered, as they're not known for their journalistic accuracy, integrity, or anything of the like. But this does make me nervous, thinking that Marvel is going to completely redo the backstory of an already well-established character simply because he parodies them. And Kevin Feige, again, his ego will not allow for that. This Daily Mail article kind of reiterates some of the points that we've made coming from Rob Liefeld, but I want to highlight this last one in general. He says, since Disney rarely releases R-rated theatrical movies, it has left many wondering what the future of Deadpool's franchise. With Rob Liefeld telling Collider he's not sure a third movie will happen, but he would be fine if a third movie didn't happen, as he has made very clear publicly, as I will state again, that he is not happy with Kevin Feige's decision to go with Shang-Chi and the Eternals before Deadpool enters the MCU, and I can't say that I blame him. Well, now you're up to speed. What do you guys think? Do you think Deadpool will actually come to the MCU? Do you think they'll redo his origin story based on what we know so far? And I'm sure there'll be more news coming out. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Please be sure to, we're going to cover that in a second. Let's take this thing home, shall we? Here's where you can find us all across social media at TV2BR on Instagram, the Place to Be Reviews page on Facebook, the official Place to Be Reviews fan page, that's our private group, at the Place to Be RE1, at N80Pete on Twitter, past podcast available on Anchor, iTunes, and Spotify, and now the Place to Be Reviews on Discord. You can also email us if you're old-fashioned, okay boomer, at theplaceToBeReviews@mail.com, the world's best mail. Thank you very much. Also, on the way out, don't forget to bitch slap that like button. Do me that big solid, would ya? Yeah, I think you can do that. Also, hail the Fandom Menace. Hail to thee, my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Help us grow the channel. Hail the Fandom Collective, a group which we are proud members of now. We'll be working with them on a lot of collaborations in the near future. And I'd like to personally thank you all for joining the Place to Be Reviews. That's right, I'm Etepakuian of the Place to Be Reviews right here with all yous. Remember, if I don't see you, have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow.